And so now we're seeing, and Reuters is reporting this, and many sources have verified this, all of our long-range precision missiles are gone. I'm talking about 80%. Now, this is where, and I need to be very clear with this is where people should be concerned, because we have no deterrence long range to protect ourselves. The United States has enjoyed being a nation between the two largest oceans in the world, and
Yep.
historically it protected us. But in 2026, we live in a world where a missile can leave the heart of Russia and be in Washington, D.C. in minutes, not hours, not days, minutes, right? And so you want to have long range precision, i.e., for offensive strikes or even point defense, air defense, whatever you want, you need to have them. We have expended those chasing $1,000 drones with multi-million and billion-dollar weapon systems, and we've
Right.
done it poorly. And so when you ask, how does this happen? Your Secretary of Defense should have enough sense, should have enough wherewithal, enough wisdom, but most importantly, instead of PTing with the troops like he's a damn sergeant, having the strategic vision and thought process to understand strategically what the United States has put themselves into by doing any of this. But instead, he's too busy talking about your testosterone levels. He's too busy doing pull-ups very badly. He's too busy doing all of these other things instead of leading the force. Leading the force. Leading the force is making sure you have enough weapons and munitions for the force to execute, making sure they're properly trained, and making sure that they are protected to the best of your ability. He has failed in all three of those.
Well, and you've talked about the power of our military, and it's not the military necessarily that's failing, right? It's the
No,
civilian leadership of the
no.
military. Um, a CSIS estimates that our Patriot, and I'm reading this now, Patriot inventory has gone from about 2,300 before this
Uh-huh.
war to under 800.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, that from 450 to under 200, under
Yeah.
278.
Yep.
Look, at the current burn rate, how long can we keep protecting our bases?
We're not. I mean, they're
Ah,
all abandoned. I've said before on this show, my personal office, my base was blown to bits. Blown to bits, both of them in the Middle East as commander of Task Group 56.7. I, they're gone. So we're not doing it. We're retreating. And I'm going to use that word because people are not using it enough. The United States of America and the United States Central Command area of responsibility are effectively retreating. They are retracting themselves out of they're not even long range missiles. These are short and medium range ballistic missiles and
wow.
drones to protect themselves because we don't have the interceptors to do anything. This is why here in the last 48 hours, Kuwait once again hit like it stole something from somebody, just getting slapped all around. There's no, so let me explain something about ballistic missile defense and long range munitions in particular.
Yeah.
As someone who worked internationally to help set up shields and stuff, you realize that you have a limited number of these things, or at least you should, right? The whole idea is the interceptors are not how you fight the war. The interceptors allow you to continue fighting the war, meaning you knock down enough to take out the actual shooters. That's what you do. You don't knock them down every time. You knock them down. And in order to do that, you prioritize what needs to be protected. You allow certain ones to go through knowing that, hey, that's in the middle of nowhere, no one cares, etc. Right? But while you're doing this, you're constantly hunting and trying to stop these things from being launched as is. The United States, in my opinion, strategically underestimated the sheer amount of long, medium and
Mm.
short range munitions that Iran had, and the resiliency and fortification of their launchers, meaning they can move, and even when you hit them, they're buried so deep. These are all intel things. By the way, DNI, the office, the director of national intelligence, now has a neophyte in charge, had a
Yep.
person completely unqualified temporarily in charge. And then when you had Gabbard there, who, okay, she was an intel officer at one point in her life, you had her going after the election ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, where I live. Complete fumbling once again on intel, to getting it to the people who need to know it, and the decision makers, i.e. the president. She was not even in the room when these strikes started. That should tell you something. And people have forgotten about this. I have not. The lack of intel, the lack of knowing where to go and where these missiles are going, caused the death of over 160 girls at a school, caused the fact that we are still trying to find these missiles and they're still taking our people out. And the numbers, we'll get into that in a little bit, have been lied about from day one, all because we did not do the basic things that were already set into place that were tried and true for the United States military to operate. We have asked our forces to do things that they should not have to do, and they're not prepared to do because no one saw this coming. And so now we're consistently running, trying to survive, and we're at the mercy of a nation that you thought would be eliminated in under a week.
Well, look, speaking of intel, last week there was some reporting that Russia is giving Iran satellite surveillance and signals intel, and not just pictures, but real deal kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
this stuff, like the emissions coming off our radars,
Yes.
our communications, our weapons. It's this is there. It feels as if they're an active player in this war. Is that accurate?
I said that maybe what a week is too,
You
because
said it a lot.
right, because understand something, these two nations in particular have very robust or signals intelligent, electronics intelligent capabilities, not just to proactively be offensive, but to read and understand what's out there. They know how the spectrum of war works in ways that we cannot see, say, with the naked eye. But now when you're talking about the eye in the sky and satellite imagery and stuff like that, it's so precise. It's so very precise. And there is, no way that Iran is getting that type of data where they are being this effective without some type of outside source. That's not to say they don't have their own capability. They do. They do. But in this case, from all published reports, the scope and the scale of the targeting data they're getting, and think about this, the surface area that it's covering, the entire Middle East, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, they hit a ship in port in Egypt,
right?
With pinpoint accuracy. Number one, it surprised the rest of the world that they were able to do that because they had munitions that could reach there, but also the accuracy of the targeting, right? It was the first time the world had been made aware of these capabilities. Again, there were many people that knew they had the possibility of this capability and could use it. That's why I was on talking about the Red Sea being an issue. Suez Canal into the Red Sea, into the BAM was an issue that no one was talking about, because now you've effectively caged off the Middle East. 70% of trade, 20 to 25% of oil. And then when you backfill it with the Ukraine situation in the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, you have a string of the world's most important waterways now under conflict. And the one thing they all have in common is Donald John Trump and his administration, the State Department, and their lack of ability to do anything, and diplomacy by bomb. Doesn't work. And we're seeing it. And eventually, well, we've already started paying the price, but eventually we're going to accept the new normal because there's no going back.